Behemoth in Tower Defense X. Recently, I couldn't help but notice how many people have been praising this tower. Even with all the mob mentality, I have looked at the stats and done no testing and came to the conclusion that Behemoth is not actually all everyone says it comes up to be. Let's start with the most basic thing first. If we, for example, compare the DPS of a maxed out bottom path War Machine to a maxed out bottom path Behemoth, we can clearly see that War Machine has nearly double the DPS as a Behemoth. Now, let's look at health. Bottom path War Machine has 10 times the amount of health of a bottom path Behemoth. Now, you may be thinking, hey, what about top path Behemoth? Doesn't that have way more health and ram resistance? To that I say, even with the resistance, it still basically only has 105,400 health, which is quite a bit less than War Machine's 175,000 health. On top of that, it only has 1,094 DPS. Now, onto abilities. Behemoth has a measly none, while War Machine has railguns, rocket pods, a stomp that stuns, and is able to punch bosses backwards on the track. Name one other thing in TDX that does that. Now, I've been talking about all of the downsides of Behemoth compared to War Machine. Now let's see what Behemoth has above War Machine. While War Machine may have the upper hand in some cases, it gets completely shattered in affordability. A maxed out bottom path War Machine costs a whopping $1,644,000, while a maxed out bottom path Behemoth only costs $369,850. Another thing to take into account is range. While Behemoth has nearly map-wide range, War Machine is only able to shoot far targets with its railguns and rocket pods. It can't utilize 3/5 of its methods of damaging until it gets right up in the enemy's face. Now, let's look at respawn time. A 2-5 War Machine spawns one every 251 seconds, while a 2-5 Behemoth spawns one every 95 seconds. That is leagues faster than War Machine. Well, that clearly settles it. Behemoth has to be better, right? It's way cheaper, has nearly map-wide range, and spawns way faster. Well, there's one more thing we haven't taken into consideration. So, maps in TDX vary greatly in length. Some are absolutely massive, and others are unplayably short. Now, looking at War Machine and Behemoth side by side, you can clearly see that War Machine is much better on short maps, while Behemoth clears on longer maps. For example, if I were to use Behemoth on Survival 202, it would reach the enemy's base in no time, even if it killed everything in its path. War Machine, on the other hand, can stand still while attacking, making it much better on shorter maps or maps with intersections. Now, if we look at longer maps, War Machine takes ages to actually get to the enemies, only occasionally shooting its railguns and rocket pods, which just make it take even longer, while Behemoth shoots the enemies all the way at the back of the map, not needing to be remotely close to them. In conclusion, I think it would be nice to say that War Machine is better for shorter maps and when economy is higher, and Behemoth is better for longer maps when obtaining money is a struggle. I don't think one is better than the other. I think that they have their own cases in which they are good.